I apologize. I think I made a little bit of a technical goof this morning. So we don't get to, I'm not going to redo our welcome, but hopefully you guys are seeing this now. Anyway, what we're talking about is giving ourselves a fresh start, because in any moment, we really truly can recreate ourselves. Admittedly, there are social influences that tend to kind of keep things in the pattern that they're going when there's momentum for something, where people have their certain perceptions of you and you have certain perceptions of you. And there's often such heightened emotion that can be arising in our lives, that in the throes of that, or in the we can get caught in the momentum of that, and as a result end up going down roads that we wouldn't necessarily choose if we were at full capacity. So what we're talking about here is finding the place to pause. And it can be, this is one of the blessings, as far as I'm concerned, of being able to go to sleep at night and wake the next day, because that's a given opportunity, and given an ongoing opportunity to be able to reset ourselves, to be able to start anew. I'm wondering, I'm maybe if you guys are there, I would be so grateful if perhaps you could let me know that you're here, because I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like we are live and streaming. Okay, so I think I've got the glitches worked out. Anyway, we're talking about a reset. So what does that look like? It can look like starting. Good morning, Rosalind. Thanks so much for chiming in. We're talking about creating a fresh start and realizing. I think a lot of times we tell ourselves stories like, it's too late for this, it's too late for that. Good afternoon, Pat. So glad to have you here with us. We tell ourselves stories like, for instance, this is a good one. Like if we're dieting, for instance, or we're trying to institute a new habit, like going to the gym or eating according to a certain protocol. And what'll happen is maybe it'll get late in the day, or we'll find that we ate something that wasn't on the protocol. And then I don't know about you, but I've seen it myself in the past, the inclination to say, oh, well, I already blew it for today. So just keep indulging whatever the behavior was that was not my original intention. And the thing is that we do get to reset, we get to restart. So we can do that in the same day, but fortunately, I think it's very fortunate that we have the opportunity to go to sleep at night and wake up in a new day. And that's whether it's arbitrary or not. I don't think it really is arbitrary, but whether that division from one day to another is arbitrary or not, it serves to allow us a renewal. And for me anyway, it's easier to start new things in a new day typically. But the reason I was thinking of it is I woke up this morning and just took care of a lot of details of things that had sort of been outstanding, you might say, or things that were calling for attention that I hadn't addressed previously, and just got up, and it was like, oh, okay, new day. I didn't even have to set the intention to do all that stuff. I just took care of things, and it was really refreshing to experience that kind of fresh start. And so it made me think that we really do have the opportunity to create that for ourselves at any time. And admittedly, like I said, there are social pressures that are at work to kind of keep us in our lane, so to speak, but at any moment we can make that choice to recreate ourselves. I don't know how many stories I've heard of people that move to a new town and just redefine themselves, and maybe they had been lacking self-esteem and had been I don't know, whatever, and they go to a new place and they recognize the opportunity that they can be whoever they want to be, and they can show up however they want to show up, because people don't know them there. Now that's an extreme example of this new start kind of thing, but it's really it's a thing. It's a thing that we can take advantage of, and we can recreate and reshape ourselves, and we can also shift the momentum of a conversation or of a direction in our lives at any time. We just don't presence ourselves to that opportunity very often. We kind of live life in its flow, sort of following the trend of things. Even if we buck the trend, we're kind of going in the direction that things unfold, because that's the momentum, rather than taking some peace and or a pause and reassessing and redirecting, which is available to us all the time. Good morning, Grace Isis. So wonderful to have you here. And we're talking about fresh starts and creating a reset. I mean, we can do this even in the midst of a heated conversation or an argument, if we can find a place of presence enough to pause. Good morning, Isabel. So good to have you here. We're talking about fresh starts and creating a reset, and how we can, in any given moment, create our lives anew. And that's, yes, of course, there are people that perceive you the way that they perceive you, but and that can hold things kind of in place, or create a bit of a resistance potentially to changing or transforming or redirecting, resetting. But it is possible. And the bottom line is that the biggest reset, the most important reset, is the reset of our attitudes towards ourselves, and the possibility that we are facing in our lives, and engaging in our lives in a way that is rewarding and vital and energizing and fulfilling. And so when we catch ourselves in a pattern that's an undesired pattern, recognizing that maybe there would be a pattern that would better serve us, or a behavior or a perspective. When we catch ourselves, and I realize that that's the sticking point. But when we do catch ourselves, we do have the opportunity to take a breath and to choose. It always comes back to choice, awareness and choice. And Grace Isis says, needed topic. And thank you for refreshing our minds to this tool that we often forget its necessity. Just gratitude. Oh, so sweet, Grace Isis. Thank you so much. And yeah, we forget very easily. We get caught up in the momentum of life and the demands of our whatever the structure is that we've created of our lives, and forget that we can recreate it at any moment on all different levels, by just doing something different, by thinking something different, by allowing ourselves to feel differently, by focusing on something different. We get to reset and just to choose and to recognize the fact that today is the first day. I know this is a cliche, but it's the cliche for a good reason. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. This minute is the first minute of the rest of my life. And what do I want to do with it? How do I want to shift? How do I want to be in this moment? And what's available to me in this moment? What opportunity, what shift of mind or heart or behavior is available to me that can be more enriching and more of a contribution to myself and the world and beyond that, So I know that the key is awareness, and then choice, because so much of our lives is on kind of automatic, where we assume that we are bound by the things that we see as boundaries and limitations. Good morning, Andrea. It's so great to have you here. Welcome. So we're talking about a new start, a fresh start, and that we really do have the opportunity, truthfully, to give ourselves a reset, to give ourselves a fresh start at any time. Then that doesn't mean that there aren't influences that are going to be at play that help to hold existing patterns in place. But just because that those influences are there doesn't mean that they're insurmountable, because when we shift, when we really truly shift, the world shifts with us. When we shift in our behavior, then the interactions that we have of necessity have to shift. So if I've been angry and reactive and have been in contentious relationships with certain people, and I shift my way of being to being present and non-reactive and being able to listen, being able to hear, being able to just process through instead of being angry or acting out of frustration or any number of other less than resourceful emotional states, then the way that I'm interacting changes. As a result, the way other people are interacting has to change, because the dynamic takes two. And if one isn't playing, the whole dynamic shifts. It has to. So, or if one is playing by different rules, then the whole dynamic shifts. So let's see. So reset. So what simple thing, like today, this morning, just seeing myself be so productive, it was a shift. It was awesome, to say, okay, I was just taking care of things, and it felt really good. It felt really good to just be in that reset instead of a place of exhaustion or a place of overwhelm or a place of resignation, to be able to move into and I think for me it wasn't overwhelm or resignation. I think what it was more kind of a maybe maybe a little bit of a dissociation and fatigue. And so like waking up and being present in a new way, being more engaged, than perhaps I was yesterday afternoon or last night. Or it's just that I had so many other things on my plate that I didn't I didn't prioritize the things that I took care of this morning, which was, I think that actually the events of yesterday were really energizing and lots of stimulation. And so today, taking care of the details enabled me to ground myself. So to reset, to come back into, okay, focus. What does focus look like? What does following up and being engaged look like in a different way? Sometimes I think we can get caught up in, as I've said, the momentum and uh, the patterns, the normalcy, in air quotes there, of our day-to-day engagements. And as a result, um, we're not as present in I'm rethinking this, because for me, what I'm just looking at what the mechanics of this might be for me. And I noticed that I have this story that I have energy management issues. Like I get fatigued, and when I'm fatigued, I kind of get spacey and disoriented, and I don't, disoriented is not the right word, but I'm less able to engage with all the things, all the demands of living, right? Good morning, Kimberly. And here's the little bird that says good morning too. Anyway, we're talking about a reset, and what I've noticed is, like, yesterday was a super intense and wonderfully intense day with lots of amazing connections and ideas and inspiration and possibilities. And oftentimes we can get caught up in our busyness, the busyness of our lives, that we don't, things fall through the cracks, right? And so it was interesting being so engaged in these inspiring things yesterday. I woke up this morning not feeling particularly inspired. I'm connecting to the inspiration now as we speak, but I woke up today in action, which was really interesting. And it was a reset. It was like a fresh start to be able to say, oh, okay, so now how do I get to be, in order to be navigating and interacting with all these opportunities and possibilities? Like, I get to recreate myself. I get to re-engage in a very different way now that there's something that's calling for a different level of being right now. How do I be in the face of that? And it was really interesting, because for me this morning, it showed up with, like tidy tasks kind of thing. And it made me aware that we always do have this opportunity to create a reset. Oftentimes those resets occur on an other than conscious level. But what if we bring them conscious? What if we say, okay, I get to start fresh today. Who am I today? Who am I going to be this first day of the rest of my life? These first minutes of the rest of my life. Who am I going to be? How am I going to show up? And what am I choosing for myself? That's really what the bottom line is for this reset. Kimberly says, I'm experiencing this too. That's wonderful, Kimberly. I'm thrilled to hear that for you. You know, especially when it comes from a place of inspiration that is calling us to be more, you know, that's calling us to be a higher expression of ourselves, and calling us forward into the possibilities of what does it look like if we really show up? What does it look like if we're fully engaged? You know, and what does it take to create that reset? You know, periodically, maybe we need to just keep resetting, and maybe like the break of sleeping at night is one way that is a really powerful way to reset. Another way to create that kind of transition point is through meditating, or even very simply sitting and taking several intentional breaths, and presencing yourself to yourself, and then making a conscious and deliberate choice, setting an intention from the heart, not from trying to overpower ourselves. I don't know about you, but I notice every time I mandate something for myself, the rebel in me just, or the 3-year-old maybe even, stands up with arms crossed and says no, and fights back. So I find that trying to boss myself around isn't very effective for me. So what works better for me is to move from inspiration. So finding ways to source this inspiration for ourselves is an art form that, as we grow into mastery of it, we take a greater role in shaping our own lives and shaping our destiny and our future and our relationships. And so what kind of choice, what kind of reset would you be opting into? What might you look at today to say, oh, okay, I'm going to take a moment, and I'm gonna create an opening. Oh, how beautiful. Kimberly says, alive, alert, and enthusiastic. Beautiful, beautiful. Exactly. So why not? You know, it's like, take those breaths and breathe in that alive, alert, enthusiastic. Breathe in vision, possibility, hope. Breathe in energy and focus and clarity. You know, any number of things we could breathe in and reset ourselves in any given moment, rather than being carried by what a lot of people call the drift. You know, the drift is the momentum of life that, you know, like kind of going along with the tides, wherever the flow of the river is going. And I'm not talking about being in the flow. I'm talking about how sometimes you can be in a rowboat, for instance, and if you don't keep paddling, or you're not attendant, sometimes the drift can get you very much off course. And I'm not about doing for the sake of doing. I'm not advocating that. I'm not saying keep paddling all the time. What I am saying is, let's be alert to our opportunity to course correct, to reset ourselves, to get back in alignment, is really what we're talking about. You know, alignment with our higher selves, our higher desires, our higher intentions. And we can do that at any given moment. And it can be in a grand way, by picking up and moving to another place. It can be in a very simple way on the other extreme, where we take a few breaths and connect back to our core and our clarity and our own direction and intention, our own internal compass. So, yeah, it's all about coming into alignment. And that's what we can do when we give ourselves a fresh start. We can stop the negative chatter and bring ourselves back to the present moment where we are engaged and present and expressing ourselves in our lives in a way that is fulfilling and enriching. So yeah, I think that's what's available to us. Why not? It's kind of a magic trick, isn't it? To be able to reset ourselves and refocus, redirect ourselves. So Kimberly says, stay the course, stay connected, keep peace and harmony in our hearts. 100%, Kimberly, well said. And so on that note, I think we'll wrap it up for this morning. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live each weekday morning here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page. And please, please check out the other wonderful programming on Enlightened World Network, on Enlightened World Living, and EWN One with the Earth. And until next time, take a moment to pause, reflect, reset, and send yourself off into a direction of life that is fulfilling, enriching, joyful, and abundant. And with that, so much love.